I want to call the February meeting of the University of Michigan Board of Regents to order. I'll do the roll call right now. We have with us Regents Acker, Beam, Brown,
Here.
Hubbard,
Here.
Illich,
Here.
White,
Here.
and we have Regent Bernstein, I believe, on Zoom.
I am here. Thanks, President Coleman.
Thank you. I want to turn the meeting over now to Regent Acker, our board chair.
Thank you. Before the president continues this meeting, on behalf of my colleagues on the board, I'd like to extend our gratitude to President Coleman for her willingness to lead our great university during this time of transition. Your leadership and experience, your integrity and loyalty to our university and our community are invaluable to us and to the entire U of M community. And one only needs to read the action item on today's agenda to see the tremendous credentials you bring to the role of president. We are very appreciative of your service and look forward to working together to further our shared institutional values.
Thank you very much. Now I want to make a few opening remarks. Well, good afternoon to everyone who's here at our Ann Arbor campus and to those who are watching on live stream. I now want to call the meeting to order officially. Welcome to the February Board of Regents meeting. For those joining us online, I guess I've already done the roll call, so I don't need to do that again. I do want to start by congratulating Regent White on her induction into the Michigan Military and Veterans Hall of Honor. She is a brigadier general in the Michigan Army National Guard and was inducted into the Hall's 2021 class. So congratulations. Also joining us today are the university's executive officers. And now I go back to our chair, Regent Acker.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to report that the presidential search is off to a great start, and I speak for the whole board in thanking co-chairs Regent Hubbard and Regent Illich for their leadership on this most important of board responsibilities. You'll hear more in a moment from them. In other updates, plans are underway for necessary renovations and repairs at the president's house. The university typically does this at the official residence whenever there is a transition. At over 180 years old, this historical building serves as a testament to our history and a symbol for our future. In January, in lieu of a regular meeting, the board holds a multi-day session to delve more deeply into strategic topics and to engage with valued alumni, donors, students, thought leaders, and others. This year, our strategic session planned for January was delayed because of the pandemic. But now we have the chance to meet with donors, our Alumni Association board, and others in California in the first few days of March. As we conduct the presidential search, our engagement is all the more important to our board, and we look forward to connecting with a Wolverine family on the West Coast. But I may be even more pleased to report for the first time in our 200-year history, the Board of Regents will be meeting in the beautiful Upper Peninsula. The board has met in Grand Rapids and Detroit, and of course, Flint, Ann Arbor, and Dearborn. But this will be our first ever meeting north of the bridge. This meeting will take place in St. Ignace on July 21st in lieu of the meeting previously planned for Ann Arbor during the art fair. Summer board meetings have long been an opportunity for the board to venture to different parts of the state. In the 1930s, during Alexander Ruthven's presidency, he often hosted the board at his summer home in Frankfort, Michigan. President Ruthven and his family were avid equestrians and liked to put on horse shows for the community. In fact, these rodeos were sometimes scheduled to coincide with the arrival of the Board of Regents. Like an interesting start of a board meeting, huh? Times have changed, however, and we do not expect any rodeos this summer, but we will be engaging with students, alumni, legislators, donors, high school counselors, and researchers in the tip of the mitten throughout the week of July 18th. We can't wait to visit Northern Michigan and strengthen the ties between this incredible public institution and the citizens it serves. There is much to do in the months ahead, and we are excited by all of it. Before I turn to my colleagues, I do want to take a moment to personally congratulate our colleague, Kathy White, for induction into the Michigan Military and Veterans Hall of Honor. People don't realize, although I think our board realizes, how much time and effort Regent White commits, not just to our state, but also to our country as the Deputy Commanding General of the 46th Military Police Command of the U.S. Army National Guard in Lansing. We can never thank her enough for her service. Thank you for all your time, and go blue. Now I will turn it over to Presidential Search Committee co-chairs Hubbard and Illich, who will share a few updates. And I think we're starting with Regent Illich.
Thank you, Regent Acker. The last few months have felt like a rodeo. Our board is very excited about our presidential search. And we have worked very hard to build a presidential search committee that was widely representative of our very diverse community, including all three campuses and the health system, as well as staff, students, faculty, alumni, and parents. We've already had our initial meeting, and we look forward to insights from this incredible group as we proceed with our search. We are eager to hear directly from students, faculty, and staff across U of M about their perspectives and expectations as we work to identify the next leader of our university. So thank you for all of your input. Regent Hubbard.
Thank you, Regent Illich. I just wanted to remind everyone that you can share information through multiple listening sessions we're having, as well as our online survey. Our next listening sessions are Friday, as in tomorrow, and are focused on Ann Arbor faculty and staff. Next week's sessions focus on Michigan Medicine, Ann Arbor students, and then the Dearborn campus. Though anyone is welcome to register for any of these events, information is posted on our website. You can participate virtually in any of them. So again, thank you to everyone that participated yesterday from the Flint community in our first listening session, as well as other parts of our university who participate going forward. We thank you in advance.
Thanks so much. And I'm going to go back and make a few opening comments here. So from the first time that I arrived at the university in 2002, I have always been moved by the dedication and passion that students and alumni hold for this place. As I progressed through those years, I began to understand the long continuum of events, challenges, and triumphs that bind everyone to the University of Michigan and extend always to the new students who venture onto campus each fall. It is a profound connection. This past weekend, a graduate of the university, someone who holds 3 Michigan degrees, wrote a moving essay about how challenging it has been in recent months to remain loyal to his alma mater. It is a place that he loves very much, as do hundreds of thousands of alumni, but he feels disillusioned. And then he reminds readers about the essence of Michigan. For all of its flaws, the University of Michigan has always been about learning. We're about that intellectual spark that creates a bond between teacher and student and the learning that joins both. That purpose, that joy of learning is what has carried us and as an institution through the decades. It is why we endure. The institution is the purpose made permanent. That is what this graduate wrote in 2022. The sentiment is relevant regardless of the decade, whether we're becoming the first university in the country to build its own hospital, or are working to eradicate polio, or are using art and the arts to confront racism. Our collective commitment to learning and discovery holds true for yesterday, and it will guide us for tomorrow. It is what compels us as a university to take great risks so that we may always pursue new knowledge for the good of society. The institution is the purpose made permanent. I'm continually astonished by the difference we make in the world each and every day. Just recently, one of our medical residents helped a woman who had gone into labor weeks before her due date. Now, our doctors deliver babies every single day, but Dr. Stephen Ansuado is a dermatologist. He and the mother were at 30,000 feet in the air aboard a transcontinental flight between Ghana and the United States. Despite all of these challenges, a healthy baby boy came into the world, and the lives of baby and mother were changed forever. My pride in what this institution has done for over its entire history is what brought me back for this interim period. I look forward to working together to uphold Michigan's purpose here, around the world, and 30,000 feet into the sky. So let me share a bit about our immediate future, our carbon neutral future. Today, we're proud to request approval of a geo-exchange plant that will supply heating and cooling for the Lineweber Computer Science and Information Building. This will make Lineweber UM's first large-scale building that will not rely on natural gas for heating. As I said this morning in my note to the community, all of us deserve to learn, work, and live in a safe and mutually respectful environment. Tomorrow, we're inviting faculty and staff to contribute to the university's initiative to improve culture and create a set of shared values via participation in a survey. The survey is part of the culture journey being led by Dean Patricia Hearn and Michigan Medicine's Sonia Jacobs. The Regents and I are fully committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of everyone in our community and to earning your trust through accountability when untoward incidents do occur. Our university proudly serves the people of our state, and I applaud the increases for Michigan's public universities in Governor Whitmer's budget proposal. This includes a 5% increase in additional ongoing funding, plus another 5% one-time funding increase for each of the state's 15 public universities. An investment in public higher education is an investment in the future of our state and its children, and I welcome this budget recommendation. Lastly, I'd like to congratulate Provost Collins on being named President and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. This is a tremendous achievement and a reflection of your expertise, Susan, and integrity. We are so very proud of you. And we wish you the best in your move to Boston later in the summer. So thanks very much. And so now I think I'm going to go back to the presentation of the research report, and our Vice President Cunningham is going to make that presentation for us. Thank you.
Great, thank you, President Coleman, and good afternoon. My name is Rebecca Cunningham, and as your Vice President for Research, I am pleased to report today that despite the challenges of the pandemic, our research enterprise is strong, continues to thrive and spur important advancements that aid our state, nation, and world. Today, I will provide you with some hard numbers and a glimpse of the exciting focus that we have for the months ahead. Next slide, please. Our office works closely with faculty, staff, and students, along with external partners that carry out our mission, which is to catalyze new research, support, and safeguard our ongoing research and scholarship across our 3 campuses. Next slide, please. A look at the numbers. Good news. U of M remains a leader in research. Specifically, the National Science Foundation recently released its higher ed R&D survey results. I'm excited to announce that today, for an 11th year in a row, we rank #1 in research among our public universities. This amount of research funding provides our research teams with resources to address emerging problems, spur new technologies, and drive our economy. Next slide, please. The university has tremendous strengths across a variety of research disciplines, too numerous to name. But today I want to specifically call and highlight our social sciences research. U of M ranks #1 head and shoulders above other US universities when it comes to our social science research volume. This month, as an example, we announced that our Institute for Social Research, or ISR, will oversee a $38 million investment from the National Science Foundation to create a new data platform. This will help improve community resilience to natural disasters, avoid supply chain disruptions, and accurately predict infectious disease outbreaks. Next slide, please. During a year in which the pandemic caused so many rapid declines in academic research productivity nationwide, U of M maintained its reputation as a leading public research university with $1.58 billion in research annual volume. Overall, even in such a difficult year, our spending in research declined only 2.3% due to the pandemic that we mandated our researchers temporarily halt their work for the health of them and their community. Next slide, please. The federal government remains the largest partner for U of M research. Last year, U of M research team spent $574 million awarded by the NIH, a component of HHS, to our researchers to address the causes and treatments of a variety of serious health issues, ranging from cancer, dementia, opioid overdose prevention, coronavirus, and much more. Next slide, please. This is a visual breakdown of research spending across our schools and colleges. The medical school reported over $660 million in research expenditures during fiscal year FY21. The College of Engineering, $263 million, with LSA, ISR, and our School of Public Health rounding out our top 5 units in research focus. I also really want to acknowledge the tremendous research activity at our Dearborn campus, which in the past 4 years has seen external awards for research increase by roughly 75%, including NSF awards totaling $3 million over the past year. Congratulations to the campus. Next slide, please. As part of our commitment to using our public and federal dollars for societal impact, we continue to strengthen our efforts around translation and commercialization so that society can benefit from our university innovations by moving the science to communities and businesses. Last year, that result was 23 new startups, 502 new interventions, and a record 287 license and options agreements with companies seeking to commercialize U of M research discoveries. This is what science moving to real world impact looks like. Next slide, please. University research continues to play a vital role in driving business growth and job creation. According to the Institute for Research on Innovation and Science, the UM research enterprise has directly contributed to $5.9 billion to the national economy since 2002. Of that $1.8 billion specifically supported Michigan-based companies. In this way, our research not only provides new knowledge, but is an economic driver for our region and the country. Next slide, please. U of M places a strong emphasis on supporting Michigan businesses. Over the past 5 years, Michigan-based companies have received more than $535 million to supply goods and services in support of U of M research projects. This includes everything from beakers and laboratory supplies that come to us to do our research, to specifically designed pediatric treadmills made by a Michigan company used by researchers to improve the walking habits of children born with Down syndrome. Those companies and suppliers are located in every pocket across our great state. Next slide, please. U of M research also plays a key role in developing and training our state's workforce. Over 12,000 people currently employed across the state worked in the past on a U of M research project and gained practical experience. And that experience mattered. The average salary of those employees who once worked on a U of M research project far exceeds the state's annual salary by over 1/3. Thus, by interacting with our research enterprise, we advance the wage earning potential of workers in our region. Next slide, please. Before I wrap up, I'm excited to share with you some of our key U of M focus areas moving ahead. Our researchers have innovated and demonstrated immense flexibility in these past 2 years to pull off their research during such complicated times. To aid them, just this week, we have launched a new pandemic relief program to support our faculty whose research has been significantly impacted by COVID-19 to help them continue to move ahead. We're focused on catalyzing new research around 6 bold challenges: carbon neutral physical infrastructure, solutions for the housing crisis, healthy adaptation to climate change, universal access to healthy water, better health outcomes through better health environments, and smart healthcare systems for equitable access. We're in year 2 of a specific funding program to advance anti-racism scholarship and research. Next, we have just launched a new program to develop best practices to support our research cores, which are the backbone of our researchers' work. Finally, our Institute for Firearm Injury Prevention has just launched this past year. Firearms are now the #1 cause of death of our children and teens in Michigan and in our country, surpassing car crashes. And this institute will advance data and knowledge focused on the goals of reducing injury and death. Overall, our mission to provide the tools and resources necessary so that teams across our 3 campuses can continue to serve the world through research, scholarship, and innovation. Next slide. U of M research remains an incredible source of new knowledge, contributes to our state economy every day, improving the lives of so many Michiganders. Despite the challenges and recovery from the pandemic, it's an exciting time for U of M research. New programs, solutions emerging every day that will benefit our communities and our nation. Our U of M research future is bright. Thank you so much for your time, and go Blue.
That's a tremendous report, Rebecca, and kudos to our faculty. They're working so hard to garner those dollars. The minutes and the reports are on the website. We're now going to go to begin, though, with Chancellor Grasso.
Thank you, President Coleman. I'd like to start by reporting that the COVID response on the Dearborn campus has been nothing short of excellent. We've had 0 spread on campus, and infections have dropped to near 0 levels on our campus in recent days. I also hosted the first State of the University address last week, and I'm happy to report that the Dearborn branch of the Michigan family tree is as strong as ever. U of M Dearborn continues to be a practice-based university where students are trained to collaborate across disciplines, developing practical, efficacious, and holistic solutions. Our practice-based approach now being applied to a university-wide theme of urban futures builds on our strong culture of collaborative solution seeking. Over the past 3 years, as Vice President Cunningham noted, and it's worth repeating, our external funding has increased by 75%, with the federal component increasing from 30 to 70% of that amount. But make no mistake, we've expanded research without compromising our hallmark excellence in the classroom. Improving our retention and graduation rates within the context of inclusive excellence was and remains our highest and most worthy priority. Attendees left with a strong sense of pride and optimism about our future, knowing that U of M Dearborn is a beacon of hope and a starting point for a better tomorrow. After the address, everyone emptied out onto the campus, and we enjoyed our first ever winter carnival, both of which we hope are going to be annual traditions. Also, I'd like to report that we had another one of our faculty members awarded an NSF career grant, Dr. Fred Fang, Professor of Industrial and Manufacturing Systems Engineering, will be studying how bicycles will fit into the hyper-connected smart cities of the future. And lastly, but not least, U of M Dearborn was ranked #1 in the state and only one of 2 Michigan universities among the top 50 schools nationally for student economic mobility. That completes my report. Go Blue and go Dearborn.
Thanks, Chancellor. Chancellor Duda.
Thank you, President Coleman. It is my pleasure to share a few items of note from U of M Flint. On Monday, we hosted Senator Gary Peters. He has sponsored legislation to enhance cybersecurity, and he visited our cybersecurity training center to learn more about the educational and training programs that we are developing. He spent almost 2 hours on the campus. It was a pleasure to host him. There are about 35 million people across the nation who have some credits but no credential. U of M Flint is launching a new program called the Accelerated Online Degree Completion. It is specifically designed to help students in that category. They have some credits but have not completed their degree. This program is fully online and is tailored to the unique needs of busy working adults. Our College of Health Sciences has launched an intergeneration living experience program in conjunction with the Charitable Foundation. Through this program, physical therapy students and occupational therapy students will spend 2 years living rent-free in a senior housing facility close to campus. The students will gain valuable insight into the aging process and the challenges faced by the geriatric population. Last month, U of M Dearborn and U of M Flint joined forces to launch a research seminar series, which will culminate in a seed grant opportunity for faculty from the 2 campuses. We hope this series will lead to new interdisciplinary research collaborations with potentials for new courses and new degree programs, both at Flint and Dearborn. In our School of Education and Human Services, Christine Kinney and Melissa Shrekovich, both associate professors, have created a program for law enforcement officers focusing on interacting with people on the autism spectrum. They have piloted the program with U of M Flint's Department of Public Safety and are now holding training sessions with the Law Enforcement Organization Regional Training Commission. And let me end by sharing with all of you that U of M Flint will host the United Students Government of Michigan Conference tomorrow and Saturday, February 18th and 19th. This event will bring together student leaders from all 15 Michigan public universities. Each delegation will have the opportunity to submit resolutions that will be discussed and voted in their legislative session. Thank you, President Coleman.
Thank you. We'll now hear from CSG President Nithya Arun.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Hello, thanks so much for the opportunity to talk to you all today. I will be discussing 2 issues pertinent to the Michigan community, SPG 601.38 and student representation on the Board of Regents. SPG 601.38 or Standard Practice Guideline 601.38 requires current University of Michigan employees to report their felony charge and felony conviction that occur while being employed. Last Tuesday, Central Student Government passed a resolution calling for the Board of Regents to rescind SPG 601.38. It is known that Black and Indigenous communities are disproportionately criminalized and surveilled. Because of structural fractures in the justice system, BIPOC communities are disproportionately affected by SPG 601.38. In short, this policy perpetuates institutional racism and further serves little to no practical purpose. There is no evidence to suggest that policies such as SPG 601.38 keep our university safer. Over 120 students and organizations on campus have signed on to CSG's resolution. As an institution that values DE&I, there is no reason to keep SPG 601.38 in place. It must go. Additionally, throughout the year, CSG has been in contact with State Senator Irwin's office to establish ex officio student representation on statewide public university governing boards, such as University of Michigan's Board of Regents. We have drafted and finalized a bill with Irwin's Chief of Staff to be sent to the legislature's Education Committee. That bill has unfortunately been stalled. For years, CSG has been advocating for student representation on the Board of Regents for one simple reason. The people who make decisions on behalf of students need to be students, or at least be informed by students. Who knows student life better than us? Having a student serve as an ex officio representative on committees would not be novel. Schools across the country have students serve as ex officio representatives, if not student regents. The University of Michigan is nothing without its students. We comprise well over the majority of the University of Michigan community, and as such, must have representation. Thank you for your time, and please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any more questions and concerns. I encourage a discussion with anyone. Thank you.
I now call on Vice President Thomas Baird.
Thank you, President Coleman. I'd like to highlight some great news from development. Our donors have been exceptionally generous in recent months. From October to December, donors made commitments of nearly $329 million, our most productive quarter since 2013. These gifts are from many different areas of the university, supporting critical care, prostate and lung cancer care at Michigan Medicine, to innovative programs at the School of Education and the Ford School of Public Policy, to an ancient calligraphy collection at the U of M Museum of Art. I wanted to mention a couple other items today. I'd like to make one item on the finance property agenda more personal, and it's a request for authorization to sell real estate. This is a private residence donated by Dr. Eileen H. Forsyth, U of M alumna, Professor Emerita of History of Art, and one of our most generous faculty donors. She has made a major impact on the arts and humanities at the U of M, especially the Department of History of Art in LSA. And the net proceeds of this sale, valued over $1 million, will support LSA. Finally, I want to note that this room that we're meeting in today is named the Alan L. Glick and Robert A. Glick Ballroom. Al Glick, described as a humble industrialist philanthropist and Michigan superfan, passed away last week at 95. Robert was his brother, with whom Al co-founded Al Roll Steel. We are so grateful for his years of passion and support for U of M athletics and Mott Children's Hospital. Thank you for this opportunity to report.
Thank you. Provost Collins, personnel actions.
Yes, thank you, President Coleman. It is my pleasure to recommend the appointment of Catherine Elizabeth Angel as Dean of the School of Social Work effective July 1st, 2022. She will join us from Virginia Commonwealth University, where she has served as the Dean of Social Work since 2018. She is a distinguished scholar whose work focuses on service delivery for adults with serious mental illness and the intersection of mental illness with legal and justice system involvement. Dr. Angel is also an experienced academic leader with a deep commitment to access and equity. As Dean of VCU's School of Social Work, Dean Angel led the growth of the school's academic programs, including the development of an online MSW program, leading to an increase in total school enrollment of more than 40%. She also launched a school-wide effort to embrace racial justice and equity agenda. I'm pleased to recommend Dean Angel's appointment, and I also want to extend my sincere thanks to the Search Advisory Committee for its tireless work. I would also like to call attention to the recommendation to appoint 5 new Thurnow professors. The Thurnow Professorship Program honors those tenured faculty whose commitment to and investment in undergraduate teaching has had a demonstrable impact on the intellectual development and lives of their students. And so a hearty congratulations to Bart Bartlett, Professor of Chemistry, Amy Chavez, Professor of Dance, Shauna Daly, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Preeti Shah, Professor of Psychology, Information and Educational Psychology, and Amy Stillman, Professor of American Culture and Musicology. Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel reports are in the materials. Retirement memoirs, Provost Collins.
It is my pleasure to note the retirement of Professor and Dean Emerita Janet Weiss. Holding faculty appointments in the Ford School of Public Policy and the Ross School of Business, her research and teaching focused on improving leadership and management of public and nonprofit agencies. She founded and served as faculty director of the Center for Public and Nonprofit Management. She also served in several leadership roles at our university, including Associate Dean at Ross, Vice Provost for Academic and Faculty Affairs, and Dean of the Rackham Graduate School. Dr. Weiss shared her valuable expertise widely, including advising the federal government on performance improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. Memorials, Sally?
Yes. Yes, today in the agenda book, we have a memorial statement for Dr. Charles Rogers Doring, who was a professor of complex systems, mathematics, and physics. We send condolences to his colleagues, friends, and family.
I now call on a vote on the consent agenda, including the supplemental personnel item. Is there a motion? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Okay, so we're now on to the finance and property agenda, and we need approval of the FPA Apartment Opportunity Fund. Do we need any comment? Do you want to make a comment on that?
Nothing to add on this one.
Oh, okay,
Madam
okay.
President.
Then we need a vote on the approval of FPA Apartment Opportunity Fund 8. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Highbrook Property Fund 4, LP and Dutch City Link Fund. Any comments?
Nothing to add, Madam President.
All in favor? And opposed? Thank you. Approval of Altman Capital 2.
Nothing to add. Nothing to add, Madam President.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Approval of Rubicon Founders Opportunity Fund 1.
Nothing to add, Madam President.
All in favor? Thank you. Michigan Biomedical Venture Fund.
Nothing to add, Madam President.
All in favor? Thank you. Did we do the authorization to sell the real estate already? No, we
No.
didn't. Authorization to sell real estate.
I recommend this action request for approval.
Okay. All in favor? Thank you. The University of Michigan Health University Hospital Air Handling Unit Replacement.
Nothing to add, Madam President.
Okay, sounds like a good
It's a
plan.
handful.
Is there a support in a second? All in favor? Thank you. University of Michigan Health CS Mott Children's and Von Vortlander Women's Hospitals Emergency and Psychiatric Services renovation.
Nothing to add,
Okay.
Madam President.
Okay. All in favor? Thank you. University of Michigan Health Samuel and Jean Frankel Cardiovascular Center positron emission tomography computed tomography scanner project.
Nothing to add, Madam President.
All in favor? Thank you. Hayward Street Geothermal Facility.
I do have something to add.
Okay,
So-
great. This is the big one.
In furtherance in what you mentioned earlier,
Yes.
President Coleman, and consistent with the President's Commission on Carbon Neutrality that recommends the utilization of district geothermal systems for heating and cooling buildings to reduce carbon emissions and eventually achieve carbon neutrality. This project proposes to build a geothermal plant on Hayward Street adjacent to the Lineweber Computer Science and Information Building to supply its heating and cooling. The Lineweber Building is ideal for this demonstration project because there is sufficient land available for the system and we can learn the dynamics of a geothermal system in our climate. The project will include a perfect day, 100 borings spaced 20 feet apart with underground piping to a depth of 700 feet
Wow.
in an area approximately 2/3 the size of a football field or the football field. The system will be enclosed, an enclosed loop, meaning there will be no contact with groundwater or soils. There will be a 4,000 square foot heating and cooling auxiliary building located near the field. This geothermal system and the Lineweber building will be all electric and the first large-scale university building that will not rely on natural gas for heating. The estimated cost of the project is $20 million, and I recommend this action for approval.
This sounds very exciting.
It is.
Only Michigan would do this. And a second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The Robin and Alder Fleming, the Fleming Building.
Yes.
Demolition, oh no, the demolition of the beloved Fleming Building.
A quick comment. The Robin W. and Aldith Fleming Administration Building was built in 1964
Mhm.
and named for the former university president, Robin Fleming. The building is approximately 78,000 gross square feet and previously housed central administration offices that have been relocated to the newly renovated Alexander G. Ruthven Building. With the relocation of the central administration offices, we propose to demolish this building. In accordance with the university's naming policy, Robin W. and Aldith Fleming's names will continue to be honored in an appropriate way as approved by the naming committee. This site will be restored to an open green space area. There will be no impact on parking from this project, and the estimated cost is $3.4 million and includes hazardous material abatement, utility work, demolition, and restoration of the site to hold the land for future use, and I recommend this action for approval.
And Regent Brown, I think you have a comment.
I do. I hadn't planned on speaking to it, but I'm so moved because that's a building that meant a lot to me in my life and much more to all the people that worked so diligently and contributed to this great university over the time, especially the namesake, Robinfleming. I hope we get to honor it in another way very, very soon. Personally, I actually learned a lot about being a regent in that room, sitting in the corner or literally under the regent's table, as my dad was a regent and that was his room for 25 years. And so I knew Robin really, really well, President Fleming, and I know that building really well. And it's hard to say good riddance to a building that its time has come and passed, but that building has, but its memories will live on, and the work that was done in there will definitely live on for all of us. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for those comments. We had many good memories in working in that building. So I need a motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The 1024 Hill Street facility.
Nothing to add.
Okay. Motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
And now Executive Vice President Chattis has two supplemental items to bring forward.
The first is a request for approval for debt issuance. We're requesting that the board approve a resolution to allow the university to issue general revenue bonds in an amount up to $2 billion for future capital projects and general corporate purposes. A significant portion of the bonds will be issued as 100-year debt to lock in historically low interest rates and to provide the university with a quasi-permanent source of capital. The university will be joining a small group of highly rated universities to have issued century bonds. Another portion of the transaction is expected to be issued as the university's first green bonds, representing our commitment to the market to use the proceeds to fund environmentally sustainable capital projects for the university. Due to the expected size of the transaction, we will be utilizing a large and diverse pool of underwriters selected through an RFP process to market the bonds. The actual amount to be issued, the interest rate, amortization, maturity, and other structural features will be established prior to pricing and will be dependent on market conditions at the time of the transaction. And I recommend approval for this action.
All in favor? North Campus Housing Project, Vice President Chattis.
So I'm going to ask Vice President Herman to make a few comments.
Yes, good afternoon. The first phase of the North Campus Housing Residential Facility will provide a strong path forward to addressing the critical housing shortage and housing affordability that students in Ann Arbor tend to face. And all of this will make a significant impact on the educational experience and the well-being of our students. Currently, the demand for University of Michigan housing exceeds the supply. Although we're able to house all first-year incoming students who need housing, second, third, fourth-year students and transfer students are not always able to obtain housing at the University of Michigan. And it's our position that we want all students who need and want housing to have a bed. I would also say that moving forward with this project will have a minimal short-term impact on current students in terms of displacement, yet it will make a big long-term impact on student well-being. So I'm excited about this project and hope that it will pass. Thank you.
Thank you. The new North Campus Undergraduate Housing Project proposes to construct 3 new undergraduate residence halls that will provide 1,200 beds for students. The project will provide the foundation for future development at the site, including dining, student wellness, support spaces, and another geothermal facility to heat and cool the complex. The buildings will be designed to exceed current energy code performance by 20% and achieve LEED Gold certification. They will also be constructed with a commitment to keeping housing options affordable for our students. This housing project will also provide the flexibility necessary to enable improvements on Central Campus, providing alternative beds for students while upgrades to Central Campus residence halls are made. In order to achieve the project schedule for an opening of the beds for the fall semester in 2024, we propose issuing bids and awarding contracts for abatement and demolition activities, site utility work, and other preparatory work to meet the schedule at a cost not to exceed $5 million. The estimated cost of the project is $190 million, and we recommend this project for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a comment, I believe, from Regent Bernstein on Zoom.
Thank you. Thank you, President Coleman. I just wanted to say that I'm thrilled to support this project at this stage. I did say back in February 2020 that I wanted to see a total life cycle analysis for a net zero building compared to a life cycle cost of a traditional building prior to support or approval of future major projects on campus. Haven't seen that yet. We will see it prior to the next step in this approval process. And I'm looking forward to that being included in our planning. I'm thrilled about this project and looking forward to supporting it.
Thank you.
That's correct. That will be presented with the next gating of the
Thank you.
project.
Is there a motion to approve
So moved.
and a support? All in favor?
Aye.
On our conflict of interest, items 14 through 32 are conflict of interest items, each of which requires 6 votes for approval. The Regents have carefully reviewed all of these items and will consider them together as a block in one vote unless any Regent requests individual consideration of or recusal from voting on a particular item. Does anyone have any question about a particular item on this list? Would any Regents like to request recusal from vote on any item? I now call for a vote on these items. Is there a motion to approve? All in favor? And I think, do I need to call on everyone? Okay, we have everyone showing, and Regent Bernstein?
My hand is up. I do
Okay,
approve, yes.
got your hand up too. Okay, thanks very much. Those items are approved. And now I call on Vice President Churchill.
I'm just referencing an action that is an item for information only. It's a report of emergency action taken earlier this year.
That's all. Okay, good. And I think now we have the approval of the amended academic calendar. Do we need to have Chancellor Grasso?
That's meant to accommodate Ramadan.
Okay, and do we need to vote on this? Okay, do we have a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you much. And now I go to Vice President Churchill.
Mhm. Okay, we are, excuse me, at the public comment portion of the meeting. People have braved the weather and signed in, and we do appreciate that. I know the Regents appreciate hearing from you and the rest of us. Our first speaker is Lucine Jara, and as Lucine goes to the mic, I will remind each speaker that you have up to 3 minutes to address the board, and that topics often require study and analysis. So the president and Regents will not necessarily respond to comments at today's meeting, but they do listen and take seriously what you have to share. So with that, our first speaker.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Lucine Jada. I'm the Executive Director of the Arab American Heritage Council in Flint. And I'm also a graduate of the University of Michigan Flint and a recent graduate of the MSW program here in Ann Arbor. As a student, my involvement on campus and in the community had no limit. My freshman year, I founded and led a student film organization dedicated to youth empowerment through the arts. In my junior year, I became vice president of student government and joined coalitions that were leading campaigns and organizing for equity on campus. Throughout this period, I was pursuing my bachelor's in political science, and in my reflections of this time, I have come to realize the impact that classroom learning has had on me and the ways in which it enabled my involvement on campus. These opportunities in the classroom shaped my collegiate experience in profound ways and ultimately ignited my passion for organizing and community-centered work. In 2018, I got involved with the Arab American Heritage Council and joined their fellowship program. I rose from fellow to social media coordinator, communications coordinator, and now executive director. Perhaps what is most compelling in this reflection is that I'm surrounded by former classmates, friends, and organizers who share similar experiences and have gone on to do incredible work in their communities. As the executive director of a community organization, I know that we rely on the humanities and social sciences in major ways. These programs help cultivate and nurture the kind of criticality, innovation, and empathy that is necessary to better our society and our world. They help students gain the skills and confidence to pursue non-traditional career opportunities. They help us center theories and ideas for change within our social, economic, and political context. And in doing so, they encourage students to challenge their understanding of how these systems and structures operate. Defunding and eliminating these major programs and fields of studies is extremely harmful, not only to the university itself, but to the community around us. They represent what is being deemed a new normal in higher education. Dangerous sentiments employed by institutional administrators and policymakers will try to tell us that the most essential majors and fields of study are in STEM, as they bring in higher enrollment, hold greater utility, and drive economic growth. These assumptions are not true. However, they are used to justify austerity by cutting classes and programs and continuing to maintain a profit-driven model of education. When these programs are cut on our campus, the effects are immediate. For one, students miss out on opportunities to gain interdisciplinary skills and cultivate a deeper socio-political consciousness. These cuts also include the elimination of lecturer positions and represent the devaluation of our faculty. Faculty who are devoted to their work and experts in fields of study such as the fine arts, foreign languages, global studies, and other social sciences. As a result, students are robbed of opportunities to engage with these disciplines and envision a role for themselves in this critical work. So today I ask you, the Board of Regents, to ensure that these pathways continue to exist for students at the University of Michigan-Flint. These austerity measures and ongoing attempts to eliminate funding for the humanities and social sciences will continue to have drastic implications for our institution and continue to have in our community. I urge you to provide and help sustain the necessary support that will allow our students to discover and lead meaningful careers and allow U of M Flint to flourish. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Logan Smith.
Hello. I would like to speak about the recent cuts to the liberal arts on the Flint campus and some issues I see with the budget model of this university. I am a student at this university's Ann Arbor campus in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. This semester, I've been taking an African Studies course with an incredibly knowledgeable professor. It's been a very meaningful experience for me, both as a student of history and as a Black person. But students at the Flint campus no longer have the opportunity that I have due to the moratorium that's been placed on their Africana Studies program. Here at the Ann Arbor campus, Black students want to study Africa and its diaspora, and I believe that Black students at the Flint campus do as well. But due to the inequitable budget model that this university uses, they are unable to. I know that the people at Flint want this program back, but without new funding to hire faculty, it won't happen. The Flint and Dearborn campuses have student bodies that are poorer and more diverse than that of the Ann Arbor campus. But this university's budget model makes it so those students are getting less support than students at Ann Arbor. A budget model that offers more financial support to wealthy white students and less financial support to working class students and students of color cannot be described as anything other than structurally racist. Students at Flint and Dearborn deserve the same opportunities that students at Ann Arbor have to study things like African and Afro-American studies, music, dance, history, and literature. Liberal arts programs not only prepare students for graduate school, but also teach critical thinking and analytical skills and allow us to understand our place in the world. Flint and Dearborn students deserve to keep and strengthen their liberal arts programs, but thanks to the way their campuses are funded, they could lose them instead. A university that claims to be for diversity, equity, and inclusion cannot continue to use a budget model that perpetuates economic and racial inequality. I hope that in the next budget, you will change the model and take the steps needed to turn this university into the engine of equality and upward mobility that the people of Michigan need it to be. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Aaron Brackvar-Klein.
My name is Aaron Brackvar-Klein. I'm an undergrad at the Ann Arbor campus, and I'm very interested in engaging students in the university's carbon neutrality process. I'm a student leader. As a freshman, I worked on a proposal for a revolving energy fund. As a sophomore, I helped co-found the Student Sustainability Coalition. And now as a senior, I'm president of Students for Clean Energy, where we're collaborating with the A20 initiative. Ann Arbor is very much a leader, carbon neutral by 2030. That is being a leader. And yes, I say all of this to pat my own back because you know whose back I can't pat? The University of Michigan's. If I were to hold up a chart of early adopters to laggards, the university is not a laggard, but we're firmly middle of the pack, say late majority. If a leader is not an early adopter, I don't know what a leader is. Why do I say the university is not a leader? Because you take too long to get things done. Deliberate or not, in my circles, we say the university is delaying until we graduate because you know a loud voice one semester will be gone the next. And I don't expect university level action to happen overnight, but I do expect it to be efficient. For example, the Commission on Carbon Neutrality recommended that a special advisor to the president on carbon neutrality be hired. That was a year ago. Not only has the search committee not been formed, there's not even a job description out in the world, not the actions of an early adopter. In 2011, the precursor to the PCCN recommended that the university expand the natural gas-fired central power plant. By the time construction is complete, that recommendation will be obsolete and harmful and will lock us into future decades of emissions. Do you know what that means? More carbon offsets, more money lost, not the actions of an early adopter. The two most important actions the university has taken towards carbon neutrality are to establish a $25 million revolving energy fund and sign a PPA to source half of our purchased electricity from new wind farms. Both projects originated from student groups. I say this to emphasize that student engagement and involvement matters. So there always will be a fundamental misalignment in timelines between university action and students' time here. And to keep students engaged takes a combination of grassroots efforts that they can contribute to and meaningful action that inspires them. That action has to happen on a timeline where students can see it happening. Let me focus on generating the student engagement and then meet me halfway. Show me that you care about driving us to carbon neutrality and engaging us in the process, and show me by being as efficient as possible with your timelines. Thank you.
Isabelle Browerman.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Isabelle Browerman. I am a graduate of LSA Art History 2015, a third-generation Wolverine and a survivor of then Professor Bruce Conforth, who groomed and raped me beginning when I was a student. The first time I met Conforth was in 2013, 1 year after he was awarded the Golden Apple for #1 teacher. Despite being reported to the OIE, now the ECRT, and found guilty of assaulting his student, my sister survivor, Catherine McMahon, in 2007. Bruce was issued a last chance agreement after her report. OIE let him stay and teach, win awards, and be fed more students. I should have never met Conforth nor my 7 other sister survivors. Conforth was required per the last chance agreement to keep his office door open. Still, the first time he raped me was in his office in Haven Hall with a locked door. This is a patterned response from OIE at UM. As of 2020, 7 professors have been instructed to keep their doors open because they were found guilty of misconduct, instead of receiving termination and public backlash for their behavior. 8 years later, 2016, students Shayna Mahler and Amelia Brown came forward about Conforth's patterns of abuse again. Once again, the OIE offered Bruce a kindness, early retirement. This is another patterned response from OIE, see Filbert case. During this investigation, OIE found a nude video of me on his university email. I was not contacted because he told them we had a consensual relationship. They found evidence of harassment from multiple other students as well. Again, no sufficient follow-up. There was no trace of his bad behavior in university records. I almost lost my life to suicide during those years, and the OIE was the only one who could have helped. You can't pat yourselves on the back and talk about changes being made while past victims still have not received real transparency or justice. A start would be to honor my FOIA request filed a year ago. Instead, I have had to sue for information. Firing Schlissel is not enough. You fired one president for sexual misconduct and then hired another who is historically indifferent to it. Words are one thing, action is another. Despite her comments today, Mary Sue Coleman has demonstrated that she is part of the problem. During her time as president, she oversaw Martin Filbert's hiring as dean upon discovering that he was flagged for sexual misconduct. Coleman agreed it was a non-issue and allowed him to ascend. Filbert went on to assault 9 known women in the workplace. Mary Sue Coleman was here when Bruce Comforth was found guilty of assault and offered a last chance agreement. She presided over the school while I got raped in a known predator's office. There will only be reform if the president drives this reform genuinely and consistently. Mary Sue Coleman has historically buried this issue, and as far as I'm concerned, she has dirt on her hands. Mutual support is a fallacy. We have not heard from any of you despite our efforts to be in dialogue with this administration. Due to Coleman's assignment, the Comforth survivors see it as even more urgent that this administration includes sexual abuse survivors as members of the hiring committee for the next president. Thank you.
Harold Ford. Mr. Ford. Harold Ford.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for your service, everybody, and for the opportunity to speak. My name is Ford, Harold Ford. I'm a Michigan taxpayer and resident. I'm a graduate of the University of Michigan, Flint and Ann Arbor. My family is a U of M family. My wife graduated from there, a daughter. My grandson attends the university. I'll be forever grateful to this university for the education that I got that enabled me to have a 44-year career in public education. But I'm embarrassed and ashamed that the university enabled sexual predation of its young people for decades. U of M now joins the long list of universities touched by this sort of scandal. Think Penn State and Jerry Sandusky, MSU and Larry Nassar, Baylor, SoCal, UCal, Harvard, and others. Now U of M, Anderson, Conforth, Filbert, and maybe Schlissel. What is it about higher ed that it can't get right, including my university? You not only have a responsibility to enact policy, but you must monitor and enforce it. I was a career educator, as I said, for 44 years. Let me share one quick story with you. Well into my career, 2 young female, attractive female high school students came to me and said, Mr. Ford, the long-term sub teacher across the hallway has been saying inappropriate things to us. I didn't hesitate. I went to central administration and that dude was out of the district the very next day. I knew what my responsibility was as an educator when I was the recipient of that kind of information. Again, I asked, what is it about institutions of higher education? You still have work to do, obviously. The story should not end with a payoff and a policy. There are systemic reforms that you must attend to. You can start with something simple, however. Take down the statue. Penn State did the right thing when they took down the statue of their person who enabled sexual predation. Do the right thing. Take that statue down and put one up. This is my suggestion of John Vaughn instead. John Vaughn is my hero, not a successful coach that looked the other way.
Zoe Larkins. Zoe Larkins?
Hi, my name is Zoe Larkins, and I'm a current student in the MSW program here at U of M. This semester, I'm also employed as a graduate student instructor. I know that you take seriously the work that GSIs do. Today, I ask that you also take seriously the concerns I have about how GSIs are hired, especially those of us who are not doctoral students. GSI positions are not advertised except to current GSIs. Application information is posted in the internet equivalent of a basement copy room. Hiring is haphazard. Securing a GSI position relies on insider knowledge, seniority, and favoritism, hallmarks of elitism and systemic inequality. As a result, the benefits of a single semester-long GSI position are exponentially significant and enjoyed by few. To illustrate my point, a friend of mine is in her third consecutive semester as a GSI. She was invited to apply for the position she holds now because of her prior GSI experience and because a friend of hers has worked for the past 2 semesters for the professor who is now their mutual boss. It is almost certain that my friend will be offered a GSI position this fall. All told, she will have been a GSI for 4 of 5 semesters at U of M, saving her what I estimate to be $132,442 in tuition costs. My friend and I are lucky. We are each borrowing the money to pay our tuition from our parents at negligible interest rates. If I were to take out federal loans to cover my tuition for this semester alone, $23,873, which has been waived by the university, and pay them off at a rate of $500 a month, I would pay $1,269 in interest. Of course, if I were to take out loans for multiple semesters, if I took out private loans, if I made smaller monthly payments or missed some, I would pay much more. I know that you are familiar with the student debt crisis in this country. I'd like to remind you that 50% of all student debt in the US is graduate school debt, and that the average graduate school student debt is more than double the average undergraduate student debt. The first sentence on the graduate students page on the university's financial aid website states, quote, "Financial aid for graduate students is limited compared with what is available for undergraduates." In fact, there is abundant financial aid available for graduate students here. We just don't refer to it as such. I ask that you take seriously the benefits that you have chosen to award to GSIs. I ask that you administer them with greater care. 2 more careful measures that occur to me are the treatment of all GSI positions as merit-based fellowships, or the imposition of a limit on the number of semesters for which a graduate student may work as a GSI. Given the important role GSIs play at the university and the significant investment that the university makes in us, I urge you to dedicate the relatively insignificant resources it would require to award these positions in a more conscientious and equitable manner.
You said, I'm sorry, I wanted to ask you said GSI positions for those who are not, what kind of students? Doctoral?
Doctoral.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, I believe our next speaker is not here, but I will call his name, Alex Zittelman. Okay, I'll then go to Zachary Farah. And I realize I mispronounced your name and I apologize.
That's all right. I'm used to it.
I'm sorry.
All right. Hello, my name is Zachariah Farah. I am a senior studying biochemistry in German, and I also serve as the LSA Student Body Vice President. In LSA Student Government, we have discussed many things about the future that students want to see at U of M. We've talked about how U of M needs accountability mechanisms for its carbon neutrality plan, how students are horrified by the huge number of sexual assaults that have been occurring on our campus for a long time now, and about how students want more democracy on campus, and including a seat on the Board of Regents. But I'm here today to speak to you about the issue of affordability, and specifically about instituting a $15 minimum wage across all 3 campuses. As you know, many undergraduates currently work for less than $10 an hour, for as low as $10 an hour. And in LSA Student Government, we have debated this issue and came to the overwhelming conclusion that the university must implement a minimum wage that is at least $15 an hour. Throughout this process, we gathered the opinions of the LSA student body as a whole. And in our last student government election, we had a ballot question with over 1,000 responses from voters. 87% of students voted yes in support of a $15 minimum wage on campus. And from the student perspective, it's not hard to understand why they did that. We have so many financial burdens, from paying tuition to insurance, to living arrangements, to food, to medical costs, and beyond. And honestly, I know a lot of students, including myself, have sought university jobs to help pay for these expenses, but $10 an hour hardly makes a dent. And seeing the Board of Regents approve a retirement package for one individual, which was projected to cost this institution $10 million over the next decade, while students are earning only $10 an hour, that is a slap in the face. And it makes me feel really sad and does not make me proud to be a Wolverine. It makes me and other students feel like we are not cared about, and that we are being left in an impossible situation where many, including myself, have no choice but to take on large amounts of debt just to get a decent education. And as we all know, just the cost of rent in the city has been skyrocketing. It has far outpaced inflation, and as the vice president of LSA Student Government and a city commissioner on the Renters Commission, I hear all the time from students that they are struggling to pay their rent despite holding one or more jobs at the university. So today, I urge all of you to use your power to swiftly implement a $15 minimum wage that should have existed a long time ago for all of our workers. And then we can finally discuss restoring the trust of the students in your leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Noah Strang. Noah Strang, yeah, thanks.
Hi there. My name is Noah Strang, and I'm a senior in LSA and president of the Young Democratic Socialists of America at the University of Michigan. Like many of my colleagues speaking here today, I am deeply concerned about the pay inequity that many student workers at U of M face. As a queer, low-income, formerly homeless, financially independent student, I know what it's like to experience economic hardship and worry about paying the bills as a full-time student. Despite being one of the wealthiest universities in the country, U of M students face incredible challenges in affording basic necessities like food and housing. I come here on behalf of YDSA and the 572 students, workers, and community members who signed our petition demanding the administration enact a $15 minimum wage for all university employees across all three campuses. In the summer of 2021, the Board of Regents approved a budget including a $15 minimum wage for all non-temporary employees across all three campuses. The Board of Regents neglected to extend this to all employees, including students and temporarily contracted workers. This exclusion cuts deep to those like myself who's experienced poverty. The university should not be raising tuition costs and paying student workers starvation wages while the cost of living in Ann Arbor continues to rise. Students contribute a significant fraction of the university's workers, present in virtually every unit, and yet remain underpaid for the work we do amid the ongoing pandemic. Without students working in the dorms, dining halls, as athletes at a desk or elsewhere, this university could not function. If the university could afford to pay former President Schlissel $927,000 a year, we can easily afford to treat workers with dignity by utilizing a mere sliver of the $17 billion endowment that the university sits on. Considering that the Regents approved a $10 million retirement package for Schlissel, we can afford to pay students $15 an hour. This is a matter of priorities, not resources. If the Board of Regents must choose to prioritize educational and economic equity for student workers. As Regents, you have a responsibility to the campus community and should recognize that the university and Ann Arbor, Flint, and Dearborn communities are increasingly unaffordable for students. Tuition and cost of living continue to rise amid the pandemic as student wages remain the same. This system inevitably favors those with the ability to pay staggering rates and forces low-income students from marginalized backgrounds out who don't have that privilege. We, the workers, students, and community members of the university, demand that the Board of Regents uses authority to ensure that a universal $15 minimum wage is included on the budget for fiscal year 2023 for all university employees, students, or otherwise. Action on this is necessary to uphold campus equity and provide workers with the dignity and parity we deserve. I brought with me 8 copies of our petition and names of the 572 students, workers, and community members who signed it. As a low-income student, I ask that you please read over our petition and consider our reasonable demands. The well-being of our community's most vulnerable rely on you taking action on this matter and uplifting our ability to survive and thrive at this university. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Okay, Juan Gonzalez Valdivizio.
Good afternoon. My name is Juan Gonzalez Valdivieso. I am a third-year undergraduate at the University of Michigan studying music and history, and I am here today representing Central Student Government's Presidential Search and Selection Committee. I am also an active member of the university's Young Democratic Socialists of America chapter, or YDSA. I want to specifically draw your attention to the fact that as of right now, hundreds, if not thousands, of student workers employed by the university are making under $15 an hour. I find this reality to be shocking, appalling, and frankly unacceptable, given the university's current economic standing and past financial exploits. Not only did the university see a 40% increase in its endowment between 2020 and 2021, placing its current endowment at approximately $17 billion, with at least $6 billion of that in unrestricted reserves, but it paid former university president Mark Schlissel an annual salary of nearly $1 million and agreed to an approximately $10 million retirement package for him prior to his termination. Meanwhile, student workers, whose living expenses often come primarily from their university paycheck, were falling short on their rent, their grocery costs, and their utility bills because their wage just wasn't high enough to cover it all. How can such a prestigious and research-based institution not acknowledge that student workers are key to its success and compensate them accordingly? This is a question I find myself asking every day. I'm a student worker myself. I work as a peer facilitator for the university's Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program, or UROP. Though I feel fortunate to work in a space that prioritizes transparency, fosters meaningful relationships between coworkers, and gives a voice to all employees when making program-wide decisions, I also recognize that the job of peer facilitator, like many student employment opportunities across our 3 campuses, does not provide the financial compensation necessary to cover one's living expenses in practically any capacity. If I did not have the privilege of generous financial aid and an approved student loan on top of my earnings as peer facilitator, I don't know how many university jobs I would need to take on before earning enough money to cover all of my living expenses. It does not have to be this way. So I urge the Regents, especially as they oversee the university budget, to prioritize a $15 minimum wage for all student workers across all 3 of our campuses. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I also wanted to speak.
I just wanted to ask a quick question. I really appreciate your remarks and I do think that the Regents will be reviewing that at the budget period. One question I have, I'm curious, if I'm hearing you right, you're saying President Schlissel has a $10 million retirement number. I'm just wondering about that fact, where you got that.
As far as I know, there was a retirement package for former President Schlissel that was estimated to be approximately worth $10 million over a decade.
Okay, that is not accurate, that particular point that you made. That is just not a true statement, just FYI. But again, very much appreciate what the main point that you're making. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I still believe we deserve $15 an hour. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Juan, I spoke with Noah before, Noah String, and yeah, it's something I personally believe is well-deserved. And so it's something I think the board will work on as we move toward the budget.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, I'm going to go back one because I accidentally missed a speaker. With my apologies, Nathan Boland. Did Nathan speak? No. Yeah, that's what I thought. I apologize.
Hello, my name's Nathan Boland. I'm a junior majoring in biopsychology. I'm a rural transfer student and I'm a paid undergrad research assistant. The student workers at University of Michigan are what allows university to function, what gives university its amazing reputation. The prospect of being able to work in research and get paid as an undergraduate was one of the largest motivations for me to pick this university. That #1 public research university honor definitely goes a long ways. Without the undergraduates that we have staffing our dining halls, staffing the learning centers, staffing the libraries, these vital functions would not work without the undergraduate workers that work in offices and at front desks. These operations would be significantly hampered. Without the assistants working in the labs, we would not have our honor of being the #1 research, public research university. And frankly, our current wages don't reflect this, this value that our work does. Given the university's $17 billion endowment, and as you've noted earlier, amazing success in collecting donations and fundraising, it's clearly not an issue of being able to afford to pay the workers what we are worth. Seems to be more of an issue of how much worth the university places upon its undergraduate working staff. I'm in a lucky and privileged position where I'm able to work as a research assistant for the sake of getting research. I don't depend on my wage this year to get by. I live in dorms and have a dining plan, which my parents are taking loans out to help me pay for. And so I'm able to get by this year, but I know that next year, once I'm no longer guaranteed housing, and once I have to pay Ann Arbor housing prices, I will be sharing a bedroom to try and cut the amount of time I have to work down so that I don't have to work a full-time job in addition to attending school 14 to 16 hours, working on a senior thesis, etc. So please do, I guess moral of the story is pushing for the $15 minimum wage for all students across all 3 campuses.
Nathan, can I
Thank
ask
you.
you a question?
Yeah,
You said are you currently working in a lab?
I'm working on
You
remotely
don't have to
on a
tell
research
me
project.
like who or anything, just,
Yes, I'm currently working on a research project.
and because you're an undergrad, so you're not getting, is this the same issue because you're not a doctoral student, you're not getting the higher, or is it totally, yeah, okay.
I think it's a different issue.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Maynor Imran.
Good afternoon. My name is Mahnur Imran, and I am an undergraduate public policy student, Asian American organizer, and student worker. I am here because I believe in dignified labor and wage justice for our students on all 3 campuses. Namely, I believe in a $15 minimum wage. Right now, students are struggling. The pandemic endures, tuition rises, rent goes up, and groceries get more expensive. Our livelihoods are very much dependent on our financial circumstances and the wages that we earn. Over the weekend, a student workers town hall took place where student workers aired their grievances with low wages and poor working conditions in their workplaces. A student who works as a campus tour guide told us that he only makes $10 an hour. $10 an hour to perform the work that makes the University of Michigan look attractive to prospective students, thus rolling in the applications, tuition dollars, and continued prestige. I'm appalled by this. I encourage you all to engage right now in a quick thought exercise. I want you to think about the salaries that you all make and think about how it enables you to afford your cost of living. Now I want you to think about whether or not a $10 wage would enable you to afford the same kind of cost of living. It wouldn't. We hear all the time that the university cares about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's an honorable commitment. Now, the question is, how does that goal of equity get translated into improving the material conditions of the students who attend this university? Given the disproportionately wealthy and white student body, much harm is experienced by low-income students of color. Students who, despite overcoming a great amount of adversity to be enrolled at one of the richest institutions in this country, struggle to afford basic necessities, jeopardizing their academic successes, mental health, social well-being, and overall college experience. Student workers deserve better. They deserve a $15 minimum wage. And the MIT living wage calculation finds that that living wage should be $15.62. So really, we should be asking for more. We're asking for 15. And finally, I want to end on the note, the Detroit Muse did write that Schlissel's retirement package would cost up to $10 million over the next decade. So that's where we got our information, and we are really appalled by the fact that the university is fine with paying so much money, $927,000 a year, to the formerly disgraced President Schlissel, which amounts to about $445, which is a conservative estimate, an hour. And our students deserve that same kind of dignified wage. I urge you to support a budget that extends that minimum wage, $15, to all students across all our 3 campuses. Thank you.
I believe our last speaker has canceled, but I will call her name. Linda Martinson has canceled. Okay, with that, President Coleman, there are no other speakers.
Regent Ecker.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all of our speakers today for coming out here in this this blizzard. The Regents really appreciate all of your comments, and thank you again for making it out today. Thank you, President Coleman.
This meeting is adjourned.
Okay, see you now.